knowing that the risk of death increases so dramatically with increasing age. Therefore, what becomes relevant to look at now is the population profile in demographic terms of various areas and countries. And that's what we want to do now. So this is what we call the population pyramid. Now, I suspect quite a few of you are familiar with these already. But for those of you that aren't, what we have here is this is the percentage of the population. So that's 0, 2, 4, 6, 8% of the population. And here, these lines represent the number of people at particular ages. So 0 to 4, 5 to 9, 10 to 14, 15 to 19, 20 to 24, increasing age as we go up on that scale there. So for example, this side's female, this side's male. So we can see that of the population here, we've got 3% of the population is female in the age 0 to 4. That's the population pyramid. And what we see is that younger people here, it appears that in Iceland, people have got a good chance for getting to older age. So the walls are kind of straight. That's the thing to look at here. The walls here are kind of straight. People are surviving into different age groups. But then the older that you are, the more likely you are to die. So we find that once you get to these older age groups, the population left alive becomes less and less and less and less and less. And actually in Iceland, look, there's no one older than 100. Interesting. 0%. So we normally see this sort of drop off with old age. And this is the typical pattern that we get in Western countries. Now, the reason I'm stressing this is any country with a similar shaped population pyramid to Iceland may go on to have a similar infection fatality rate. Because according to the Australian data, age demographic accounts for over 90% or 90%. Was it 90%? It was about 90%, wasn't it? Of the risk of death. So let's look at the United States now and remind ourselves of Iceland. That was Iceland, 0.3% infection fatality rate. Pretty similar shape in the United States. Looks a bit like the Empire State Building, doesn't it? But a pretty similar shape. So again, younger people in America have got a reasonable chance of getting older. Then the older you are, you start dying off. Actually, that's got the United States over 100 as 0% as well, which I know is not true. So that's just a simplification of the data. But you get the idea. People are dying here much more after the age of 60, more after the age of 70, more over the age of 80. So that's the profile in the United States. Does that mean we could expect about a 0.3 overall percentage infection fatality rate? The same as Iceland? Could well, if 90% of its fatality is affected by that. The United Kingdom, fairly similar group. You can see there's been a reduced birth rate in the UK for a bit of a period of time there, because there's more people in this middle bit. Okay, but similar shape. Now, just bear in mind that shape, and let's compare that to Kenya. I mean, wow, what a striking difference. UK, Kenya. So what we see is in Kenya, people are dying in the younger age groups at much higher rates. And that gives this real pyramid type shape. I mean, these are, I mean, I've shown these to students for 20, 30 years, but it's so striking, isn't it? I mean, look at that. I mean, that's the UK and that's Kenya. High birth rate, of course, but, you know, also older people dying off from, you know, age 19 here, you know, it's which of course is tragic. Niger, even more pronounced pyramid. Just give another African country. And these people are largely being killed by infectious diseases, of course, and poor living conditions. Learn a lot from countries like this. Cambodia, a country I've worked myself. What we see is up to the age of about 40, fairly high population, then quite low here. So why is it there's so many people in the 40 to 40, so few people in the 40 to 44 age group in Cambodia? Why are these figures low? These figures high? High birth rate, obviously, but if you remember your history, I've known and worked with many people who've lived through this history, suffered through this history. We had the whole Vietnam era and the takeover with the Khmer Rouge and the genocide that followed. And of course we can still see the effects of that genocide as that generation works its way up the pyramid. The huge numbers of people that were killed, both in the war, civil war, but mostly by the atrocities committed by Khmer Rouge. So just that striking difference there. So you would expect, given that there's less older people in Kenya with COVID-19 and more older people in the United States with COVID-19, to die. It is that simple based on population pyramids. Looks like that's accounting for 90% of the difference. So there we go. The overall figure was at 0.27. Developed countries looking like nearer the Icelandic figure of 0.3. And that's based on as good a data as I could work out and preparing this over the past sort of 24-hour period. That's up to date data. As we head into the second wave, as we're calling it now really, in Europe and the United States, can we expect similar figures? Well, the scientific officers are saying that the increase in deaths and hospitalisations are baked into the increased cases as we've looked at over the past few days. So yes, this is going to happen. But what people are worried about is that people will be sick who can't access hospital facilities if there's a lot of people sick all at once, and that would increase the infection fatality rate, which is a worry, which is why which is why we're taking these current precautions to reduce the spread of the pandemic. Okay, so there we go. That was as data based as I could make it. Thank you for watching as always, and yeah, nothing else to say really. Thank you for watching. I think I've said what I wanted to say.